What up, YouTube? Thanks for coming to my channel. My name is One of a Kind Vlogs. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video, and comment down below. Now, we're still celebrating Women's History Month. And I'm going to talk about a few things that I've conjured up right here. And it starts, why do we celebrate Women's History Month? Women's History Month is dedicated month to reflect on the often overlooked contributions of women in the United States. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about Clara Barton. Civil War Union, December the 25th, 1821, April the 12th, 1912. Born in Massachusetts in 1821, Clara Barton was the youngest of 5 children. Barton supplemented her early education with practical experience working as a clerk and bookkeeper for her oldest brother. She worked for several years as a teacher, even starting her own school in Town, New Jersey in 1853. In 1854, she moved south to Washington, D.C. to search for a warmer climate. From 1856 to 1857, she was employed as a clerk in the patent office until her anti-slavery opinions made her too controversial. When she went home to New England, she continued the charity works and she had begun in Washington. Early in 1861, Barton returned to Washington, D.C., and when the Civil War broke out, she was one of the first volunteers to appear at the Washington Infirmary to care for wounded soldiers. After her father's late death in 1861, Barton left the city hospitals to go among the soldiers in the field. Her presence and the supplies she brought with her in 3 army wagons was particularly welcome in the Battle of Antietam, Sharpsburg, where overworked surgeons were trying to make bandages out of corn husks. Barton organized able-bodied men to perform first aid, carry water, and prepare food for the wounded. Throughout the war, Barton and her supply wagons traveled with the Union Army, giving aid to Union casualties and Confederate prisoners. Some of the supplies, like the transportation, were provided by the Army quartermaster in Washington, D.C., but most were purchased with donations solicited by Barton and her own funds. After the war, she was reimbursed by Congress for her expenses. In 1863, Clara Barton would travel to the Union-controlled coastal regions around Charleston, South Carolina. On July the 14th, 1863, Barton moved from Hilton Head Islands to Morris Island to tend to growing numbers of sick and wounded soldiers, a list that would greatly expand after the failed Union assault on Fort Wagner on July the 18th, 1863. Later in the Morris Island campaign, Clara Barton, working out of her tent, would seek to address the growing problem of sickness on the island by passing out fresh food and mail to the troops in the trenches. Despite her great effort, Barton herself would become gravely ill and would be executed to Hilton Head Island. We must capture 1 Fort Gregg and 1 Charmel horse wagoner, and we will build 1 cemetery, Morris Island. The 1,000 little sand hills that are in a pile, moonlight are the 1,000 headstones, and the restless ocean waves that roll and back up on the whitened beach seem an eternal requiem to the toll-worn gallant dead who sleep beside Clara Barton on Morris Island. In January 1865, Barton returned to the North when her brother and nephew died. In March, President Abraham Lincoln, yeah, I said it, appointed her general correspondent for the Friends of paroled prisoners. Her job was to respond to anxious inquiries from the friends and relatives of missing soldiers by locating them among the prison rolls, parole rolls, and casualty lists at the camps in Annapolis, Maryland. To assist in the enormous task, Barton established the Bureau of Records of Missing Men of the Army of the United States and published rolls of missing men to be posted across the country. It was at her instance that the anonymous graves at Andersonville prison were identified and marked. In 1869, Clara Barton traveled to Geneva, Switzerland as a member of the International Red Cross. In 1880, the American Red Cross was established. A decade of work by Barton, she served as the organization's first president until 1904 and continued her tradition of volunteer in Cuba during the Spanish-American War. Clara Barton died in 1912 at the age of 91. This chick went all over the world doing what she loved to do best. And I learned a lot from Clara Barton. Now, that's the end of my video. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, cut on post notifications so that you'll never miss a video. And comment down below. Remember, you're too blessed to be stressed. Love and happiness at all times. Hug somebody, tell them you love them, and always do a random act of kindness. And I will see you on the next video.